Hello, I'm Rachel Callahan. I am the Agritourism Coordinator with the UC Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education Program, otherwise known as UC SAREP, which is a program of the UC Division of Agricultural and Natural Resources. Welcome to today's webinar. Again, it is community collaboration, farm trails, tourism partners, and more. And this is the final webinar in a series entitled Agritourism and Direct Sales, Best Practices in COVID Times and Beyond, which is presented by the UC Division of Agriculture and Natural Resources. So information about the past webinars that were part of this series, including links to the webinar recordings and presentations, can be found on the link that we are going to put into the chat. So please feel free to go back and familiarize yourself with some of the other topics that we covered today or covered previously. Today, we will be discussing the power of community collaboration. In agritourism, like many other aspects of farming, we find that collaboration often results in more success for each individual farmer or rancher. Now, collaboration can take a lot of different forms based on the individual characteristics and needs of a community. And with that in mind, today we are going to hear from two very different types of organizations in two very different regions of California that are working to support farmers and ranchers in their regions. We will be hearing from Carmen Snyder of Sonoma County Farm Trails and Steffen Petersen of Modoc. And I'd like to just take a moment to thank both of them for being here. Really excited to hear what you have in store for us. So first up, without any further ado, we will have Carmen Snyder, Executive Director of Sonoma County Farm Trails in Sonoma County, who will tell us about how the farm trail works and the benefits that it provides to its members and to the community at large. If you have any questions for Carmen, please feel free to type them into the chat as we go along, and we will be answering all questions at the end of both presentations. So with that, Carmen, take it away.
All right. Hi, y'all. I'm so glad to be here with you today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. There we go. That's not what I want. Sorry. Here we go. All right. So I am, as Rachel mentioned, the executive director of a nonprofit called Sonoma County Farm Trails. And Farm Trails was founded back in 1973. By a bunch of forward-thinking farmers who wanted to facilitate direct sales between the public and the producers. And our mission, as you can see here, is to ensure the continuing economic viability of Sonoma County agriculture by instilling an appreciation of ag as a vital part of our community and lifestyle.
Hi, Carmen. Just to let you know, I don't think are looking at your PowerPoint presentation.
Okay. It says,
we see the apple there.
Bring your shared window to the front. Thank you for letting me know. Hold on, let me stop share and go back to PowerPoint. Are you're not seeing that yet, huh?
Not yet.
Shoot. Oh my. I'm no longer seeing a, okay, let's see, share screen.
Yeah, this is looking good.
Okay, sorry about that, y'all.
No problem.
Okay, we'll, so you heard our mission, and so Farm Trails was started back in 1973, and this is the original map that was produced to show the public where they could find all of these amazing local products and services in Sonoma County. So originally, everybody who was part of Farm Trails was part of this map. And really at that point, Farm Trails was sort of a marketing cooperative. And the organization that was also founded, like I said, by farmers and also the local ag commissioner at the time, really did a lot to drive sales to these businesses before there were farmers markets or the internet or, CSAs, or before it was easy even to source directly to local restaurants and groceries like it is now. So we have a diversity of members, usually about 200 farmers and producers, and we still have folks who have farm stands. These are a few of the lovely farm stands throughout the county. But for most of our farmers, staffing up a farm stand, 7 days a week or even every weekend is not the most viable economic model. And so a lot of them do go to farmers markets and of course source to have CSAs, local restaurants, grocery stores. And some of them, although it's not required to be part of Farm Trails, still do participate in our seasonal tours. So we have an annual membership, which is $150 for our renewing members, an early bird rate. Those are olives, by the way. And here we have some cheeses, just giving you kind of a little sampling of the different types of producers who are the constituents of Farm Trails. Even here in Sonoma County, we have some seafood members. And then the membership rate jumps up to $175. So we've really tried to keep that down because part of our mission is, as you heard, to keep farms forever in Sonoma County and to have it be viable economically for farmers to operate here. Value-added products, nurseries, CSAs, farmers markets we are part of our membership, and we certainly collaborate with them, and also local restaurants. So this is one of the latest mapping guides, and all of our members, even if they don't want people to come, they're not staffing up a farm stand all the time. If they would like to be plotted in our annual mapping guide, we put them on the map and we give really explicit instructions, like by appointment only, or we list their hours, or we say not open to visitors, but they can still get some visibility. All of our members for sure take advantage of the visibility of our dynamic searchable website with multiple entry points. This is Montebellaria, one of our lovely Farm Trails members. And so you can search by name, by region. And when you click on the link, you'll see the member profiles that give their, a little detail, a slideshow, hours of operation and such. And so for some of our Farm Trails members, this is a huge benefit because, the larger operations oftentimes have really slick websites and they do a lot of outreach. But for the smaller people, oftentimes, and I think this is really part of the inception of Farm Trails, it was, farmers were out farming and oftentimes having second or third jobs. And so they really appreciate the value of Farm Trails helping them with their marketing. And for some of the smaller producers, our website is actually a miniature website for them. And because we've been around for so long and we have such good cross-pollination with, other online networks and so much earned press, even for Farm Trails members who have websites, sometimes if you're searching for them, the Farm Trails website will come up first. So this is the searchable map where you can drill down and find products and services and methods and practices. And I invite you all to visit farmtrails.org to check it out more. Another benefit for our members is the high impact newsletters that Ellen Cavalli, who is our amazing project manager, she curates and produces these. So this is actually a screenshot from our website because every time we do a seasonal newsletter, we put it up there as well with the seasonal offerings. So this newsletter goes out to the public, which is, mostly Bay Area, although I get emails sometimes from people across the country or in different states who are also following us. And again, it's seasonally driven, and Ellen is working just to promote all of the sales, the opportunities, the events, the experiences that our members are offering. In addition to the public newsletter, we also have a member newsletter. And this is highly informative and dedicated to, say, funding or hear, COVID information about vaccinations. So this email is kind of more internal, sharing sharing resources with our membership. And so those emails go out even more frequently, I would say, just kind of on an as needed basis, sharing, workshops that are happening, or like I said, funding opportunities. And then social media promotion. We have over 6,500 followers on Facebook and 3,300 on Instagram and counting. And so, of course, everyone loves the beautiful visuals of farm treats, and I believe this is from a seasonal Valentine's post. This is from a fall tour. COVID's a bummer, politics are mean, good riddance to summer, come save us Halloween. Foggy River Farm, when they did the pumpkin patches. Holidays along the farm trails, one of our seasonal offerings that we organize on behalf of the members. And then these are promotional materials that I'm going to show you for our seasonal tours. So like I was saying, the farmers, it's not, the best business model to have people out on their farms all the time, but the public is extremely eager to get out on site, to connect directly with the farmers, to see what their operations are like. And for us, we always think of agritourism as educational as well. It's certainly about driving business to our members and producers, and it's about educating the public as to ways in which they can support our local food systems and why it's important to, and looking at what the true cost of well-grown food is. So these are a sampling from one of our programs where you can see some of the breakdowns of different types of activities that our members provide. So Farm Trails produces seasonally, and we look forward, it's seeming like we're going to do it again this fall. Historically, we produce Weekend Along the Farm Trails in the fall, Blossoms Bees and Barnyard Babies in the spring, Holidays Along the Farm Trails throughout the holiday season to get folks to encourage the public to shop for their holiday gifts and their feasts from our local farmers. So the types of agritourism that our seasonal tours promote are, educational, lots of tours, workshops, classes, demos, DIY, hands-on activities. UPIC is something that is always popular. We have a fiber farm that does like spinning demonstrations and hands-on activities. Animal interactions, if I had to name one, I would say that's certainly at the top of the list for getting families out or having the opportunity to connect with farm animals. And then, of course, a lot of our members offer tastings and samplings. And in the process, they they cultivate relationships and have certainly expand their customer base. And oftentimes we'll have, lifelong customers who are so happy to connect directly with the producers. So some of our members have farm stands. Some do the CSAs, community supported agriculture, which was highly popular, off the charts during the pandemic, which was one of the silver linings. And then value added products, little storefronts, and then also engaging and selling through other retail markets. So Farm Trails has also hosted farm to table dinners, harvest parties. We don't host weddings, but that's certainly an additional revenue stream for a lot of our members, with the caveat that, depending where you are, the permits and regulations can be a little bit tricky around having lots of events. And that's a benefit of a Farm Trails membership, is that we have an umbrella permit with the County of Sonoma. So any of the organized Farm Trails weekends fall into our long-standing relationship with the county. So our members, when they're participating over the weekend, they don't have to get additional permits, except for things that you would definitely need, like say if you're producing a meal out of a, like a food truck, that would have to be in good standing with the, all of the best practices for food preparation. And then of course, during the pandemic, we saw so many people taking advantage of our parks and the beaches and really wanting to get out on the farms as well. Our Christmas tree farms had banner sales this year and sold out of their Christmas trees much earlier than usual. Partially, I think, because people wanted some holiday cheer and they were staying home. And also it was just a great family thing to do, to get out and pick your own Christmas tree. So I'm gonna just kind of quickly move you through some slides of some of the variety of tours that our members give. This is the really dynamic Singing Frogs Farm, who are leaders in no-till agriculture, Green Star Farm, Horse Rescue Farm, Ixoma Farm, Bees and Blooms with a lavender labyrinth and a delightful honeybee garden. At Redwood Hill, folks can try their hand at milking a goat, one of my favorite activities, or at McClellan's, watching cow milking demos. Joel Salatin giving an educational workshop on regenerative ranching at Terra Firma. Here's Monte Bellaria, lavender tour. Making floral wreaths with one of our favorite, that's a mouthful, favorite flower farmers, Hedda from Full Bloom Flower Farm. The Goat Farm doing soap making demos. How to grow your own shiitakes at New Karpati. Bohemian Creamery cheese making demo. Tilted Shed Cider, our very own Ellen Cavalli's other business with her partner, doing cider tastings. And UPIC at Ratzlaff Ranch, Papa's Pumpkin Patch, Be Well Farms, Garlock Tree Farm, pre-pandemic. And then here are the baby animals, which is just a delight if you've never seen city kids interact with baby animals for the first time, or sometimes they get to see them being born on the tours. It's really pretty spectacular, and not just the kids, the adults too, of course. Another type of collaboration that's happened on the tours, sometimes, if someone has like this was at Green Star Farm, they have this great property, they had all the activities for the day, and they invited one of our farm to table restaurants, The Backyard, to come set up a food truck on their property, serving the world's most amazing, in my opinion, fried chicken sandwiches from Green Star Farm. So it was like, talk about, farm to table, like you're getting to see the operation, to meet the animals, to see the way that they raise their chickens in such a loving and humane way. And then you get to actually purchase and sample and enjoy items that came from that very farm. So we have also over the years collaborated with members and other nonprofits and chefs to produce farm to table events. This was a fall feast we did years ago out at Atwood Ranch. We've done a few barn dances at Dutton Ranch. And for all of these, because part of our mission is to support our farmers, we don't ask the farmers to donate the produce or the meat. We pay the farmers for their offerings. We celebrate them by highlighting their offerings on the menus and all of the publicity. And we invite them to come because they are really our local heroes. And in this, at this fall feast, which was out in Bloomfield, we partnered with Slow Food, Russian River, and the 4-H kids who raise turkeys every year. And so we invited them to come to the feast. And as part of the live auction, they got to go up and talk about their turkeys and auction off the turkeys, sometimes for, extraordinary amounts. I think one time one went for like $2,000. And of course, well, not of course, but we did, we kept the revenue from the ticket sales, but the kids got all of the money, and their organization was able to raise some money as well. And we also partnered with the School Garden Network on that particular fundraiser. And then we produce annually the Gravenstein Apple Fair, which is our primary annual fundraiser. And it takes place the second weekend of August, historically, since 1973, during peak Gravenstein season, with live music, of course, Gravenstein apples galore, lots for kids to do, a whole Life on the Farm arena, apple games and contests, farm animals, arts and crafters, sheep shearing demonstrations, keeping backyard chicken presentations. This was a panel on regenerative ranching. So we collaborate with our Farm Trails members and again, try to, not only celebrate the Gravenstein, but really celebrate our agricultural treasures here in Sonoma County. That's Scott from Tilted Shed teaching how to make hard cider at home in our do-it-yourself arena. And we collaborate throughout the year with so many community partners, whether that's on workshops that we do together, on publicity, where, many times where we cross-pollinate, we're sharing information and resources, we're tag teaming on events. We work very closely with the county. I would say that's another benefit of being a Farm Trails member, is because we do engage in advocacy work on behalf of our farmers, because we know they also don't have much time for that. And we also create opportunities for them, like at this past, during the pandemic, we had video meetings with county health officials, county supervisors, county legal, so that our pumpkin patches and people who wanted to take advantage of the opportunities to have people on the farm during the pandemic or at the Christmas tree farms could hear from the experts exactly what was permissible and what were the best practices to keep their staff and the public safe. And then of course, we also collaborate with lots of tourism organizations like Sonoma Tourism, Go Local, Made Local, and local writers, local food advocates, the Sonoma County Food System Alliance, which I sit on the board of as well. So that we can, there's my timer, so we can help, really amplify the message, and also keep in mind, so we're not, Farm Trails has a really clear focus and mission. And if someone comes to us and saying, can you help us with that? We're like, oh no, that's really more a policy thing that CAF is working on. So we like to all support each other in our best efforts. And then we also couldn't do it without the help of major sponsors who invest both cash and in kind. And these are our current sponsors for the year. These are a couple of testimonials. I won't read them to you, but from our Farm Trails members talking about the ways that they have valued the Farm Trails membership, especially for small scale producers. These two are. And that's it for me.
Thanks so much.
Now I got to figure out how to stop sharing. There we go.
Yeah, thanks so much, Carmen, for giving us all a little bit more, not only highlighting and uplifting your farmers while you were doing your presentation, because there was some great information we all learned about what's going on in Sonoma County, but for sharing with us a little bit behind the scenes about just all of the work that Sonoma County Farm Trails does and all the different ways that they are uplifting, or you are uplifting your farmers in your community. So thank you so much. And we will have some questions for you at the end. And for now, I'm going to turn it over to Steffen Petersen, Executive Director of Modoc Harvest in Modoc County. Steffen is going to share with us how Modoc Harvest began and has been evolving to meet the needs of its agricultural producers and the greater community in Modoc. So Steffen, please take it away.
All right, thanks, Rachel. Let me see if I can get my screen up.
Yep, looking good.
Looking good. All right. Well, thanks, Rachel. I appreciate this opportunity and being able to discuss with you all a little bit about Modoc Harvest and what we are accomplishing through our programs currently. I'm hoping to give you a little bit of a history about our kind of origins. We're a fairly young organization and we've kind of evolved quickly and in the last several years especially. So I'll get a little bit into that. And I'll also talk a little bit more details on our food hub. I think it's kind of an interesting means to work with our producers to connect them with customers out here. So I'll highlight that program a little bit with you all. So I thought a good starting place would be to orient everybody to where Modoc County is located. I've been a Californian for 7 or 8 years now. And as I travel throughout the state, I quickly have learned that most Californians don't even know where Modoc County is. So we're up in the northeast corner. We're the very northeastern county in the state. We border both Oregon and Nevada. And a couple cities that we will talk about here or reference is Cedarville. That's where I'm located right now in the Modoc Harvest office. And our county seat here is Alturas, located about 24 miles west across this linear mountain range here. And just also to kind of orient you, from the county line, we're about 100 miles from Redding. This is 299 headed west. We're about 150 miles from Reno, 395 headed south here. So we're a ways from anything. With that theme, I wanted to kind of put this picture in just to really demonstrate how rural Modoc County is. This is a pretty common view out here. This is Surprise Valley, which I'll reference quite often. Surprise Valley is this valley here to the eastern side, bordering Nevada, where Cedarville is. So Modoc County has less than 10,000 people. We have 5 times more cattle than people. And we have a long and rich agricultural history here with approximately 600,000 acres dedicated to farm and agricultural ranches. Cattle ranches and hay farms across the county have traditionally had large gardens that fed the families, the cowboys, the ranch hands who lived off the land. But consolidation and mechanization have changed the distribution of people and food. And so the small farms and these gardens, these, living off of local resources has dwindled over the last century. But in recent decades, we've seen these small and medium producers that are more apt to participate in the local food system become more abundant. However, one problem we ran into is there was not really any infrastructure for a local food system. And that route had yet to be paved. And so that's kind of where Modoc Harvest comes in. Going on to our next slide here, I thought it was appropriate, given the theme of this workshop being the power of community collaboration, to really discuss what the power of collaborating with your fellow producers can accomplish. Because that's just what happened out here not even a decade ago. In 2013, an all volunteer group of citizens, producers mainly, got together to establish our first certified farmers market here in Surprise Valley. This was basically what got the balls rolling that eventually led to Modoc Harvest. But I'll kind of cover the steps that led to that. Quickly after starting the farmers market, this group of volunteers quickly realized the amount of public support for this program and the value of that program. And there was a need to be able to offer more programs at the market, such as accepting EBT and benefits payments at the market. And so there was an immediate recognition that through the development of a nonprofit organization and that legal structure, we could offer a lot more to the public and to our producers and customers in turn. So in 2015, we received the Farmers Market Promotion Program grant. It's actually the grant that's funding this workshop right now. It kind of kickstart the establishment of Modoc Harvest, and at the same time funded our market manager and led to the establishment of the Alturas Farmers Market some years later. So by 2016, Modoc Harvest was established as a 501c3. And in 2017, we were able to establish the Alturas Farmers Market. Now in 2017, I mentioned I was going to discuss our food hub in a little bit more detail. And I think it's worth discussing the food hub a little bit more specifically. Now the food hub started similarly. The same group of volunteers saw a need and the use in establishing a food hub. And so they partnered with a fiscal sponsor separate from the sponsor that got our Farmers Market Promotion Program grant to establish a producer association in 2015. It was known as Surprise Valley Grown, and it was the development of this producer association through a planning project grant that established the food hub. This was a 6-month planning project, and it focused on getting food through a food hub model to our public schools here in Cedarville, as well as a citizen customer base. And by 2017, Modoc Harvest was established, and it only made sense for this recently established nonprofit with the mission that aligned with the food hub to adopt the Surprise Valley Grown Food Hub. So the Surprise Valley Grown Food Hub is now an internal project of Modoc Harvest, but it's worth noting that the establishment of both of these projects were by the same hardworking volunteers. They just took 2 different mechanisms to get there. So going back with our timeline, was adopted in 2017. A few months later, the Alturas Farmers Market began. So this was now our second certified farmers market in Modoc County. And then in 2018, receiving a large, it was actually an FMPP grant as well, in combination with community collaboration, and also receiving other smaller grants, really form Modoc Harvest into the organization that we are today. We started, focused on our farmers markets and the adoption of the food hub. But these grants and through community collaboration allowed us to form other local food oriented projects to benefit both our producers and our customers. So it's our mission here at Modoc Harvest to strengthen the communities of Modoc County through local food access and education. So all of these programs, were developed and evolved to accomplish that central mission. So I'm going to briefly go over each of these programs and then close with a little more detail on the Food Hub, our final program here that I think is a pretty interesting concept here that we've established. So as I mentioned, we have 2 certified farmers markets, one in Cedarville and one in Alturas. They take place on alternating Saturdays between June and October. So we have a total of 16 weeks of farmer market season here in Modoc. That big grant I was talking about that we received in 2018 really, kickstarted this local food education program. Our mission being strengthening through local food access and education. It's a part of our mission, and we see education being an integral component to creating food access. And so some of the programs that we established were getting education coordinators into our K-12 system to get the conversation started about local food systems from an early age. Last year, we were awarded a First Five grant that, got us in class, got us working with kids 0 to 5 years of age. So, as soon as they can, I guess as soon as they can explore the world, they're hearing about these local food systems and eating healthy and making that a part of a lifestyle as opposed to, just happening on it. So we have a number of programs in addition to our in-classroom work. We have cooking classes, which I think are really great. Last year, I think was a bit of a learning curve. Traditionally, we had worked with our local tribes as well as another local nonprofit to do in-person cooking classes with like diabetes clients as well as life skills courses. But with the pandemic, we had to go virtual. So here's a picture of an online Facebook Live, cooking course. And so with this, it's an opportunity to address, barriers and, just knowledge about cooking with raw ingredients that are common at these local food outlets. And at the same time, we're promoting our local or our hub and farmers market producers by, paying our producers for the products that we're cooking with. So we're promoting those programs and supporting our producers at the same time with these cooking classes. So I thought they're really great, piece, an awesome program. We have a farmers mentorship program that's been occurring over the last 3 years. The whole premise of this program is recognizing the fact that our farmers market vendors are often, retirement age or older. And so, a key to sustaining our farmers market and in turn a local food system here in Modoc is by replacing vendors and passing on knowledge about, growing and producing these local products in this very unique system here. It's dry, we're in the high desert here. So knowledge is key out here. So this has been a beneficial program. Right now, our food hub currently has 2 vendors that are, past mentorship program alumni, and I think we have a 3rd on the way. So it appears to be working. So that's promising as well. Another program which we are part of is the Alturas Community Garden. This is led through a shared governments type model where Modoc Harvest collaborates with the local Modoc County Public Health Department, a local church, St. Michael's Episcopal Church, and another nonprofit, the Alturas Garden Club, to promote and, keep the Alturas Community Garden up and running. And it has just been a hit. It's, I think, in its 3rd year, and it's got a ton of support. I mean, its beds fill up, and what's great is public health and Modoc Harvest are able to use that venue as educational learning, as an educational learning venue. So we hold many educational classes there, and they have beds reserved for our first 5, kids and other clients as well. So that is a fantastic collaboration. Another project that we have is a heritage fruit tree project. I think what's unique about Modoc County is we have a rich heritage of fruit trees. You come out to Surprise Valley, especially, almost everybody's backyard has 2 or 3 of these trees, and they get their name heritage fruit trees that the settlers brought them out with them. Some of them are 100+ years old. and they have withstood a harsh climate. And so their genetics here are superior to be able to withstand the adverse weather conditions and disease that this climate brings. And so preserving those trees and just documenting and mapping and taking an inventory on where they are is kind of this project's mission. In addition, they have educational opportunities. Each fall, we try and host a pruning workshop to help the community learn how to take care of their trees. As you know, a majority of them are on private lands. In addition to that, we try and host grafting workshops every spring to try and promote the preservation of these trees. So it looks like I have 5 minutes left. I'm going to move right along to the food hub without any further pause. So here's our food hub. This is the Cedarville office on Wednesdays during food hub pickup. Packed full of orders. This was actually right after the pandemic hit last year. We saw our email list go from about 300 clients to 550 in about a month. So we're talking about silver linings of the pandemic. A food hub system definitely, benefited from this crisis. People saw the value of local food and they came for it. So we were, one silver lining of the crisis here. So what is a food hub? I found this figure and I thought it was a great figure to kind of represent what a food hub is. So hang on a second, I'm going to move these faces on my screen here. So we're concerned with connecting the dots between producers and consumers of food in local or regional food systems. Ideally, these food hubs help small farms grow by offering a combination of production, distribution, and marketing services. So our food hub predominantly helps in the distribution and marketing services of producer products. Interestingly, our food hub kind of started by providing producer products to our schools as well as independent customers. And due to logistical and administrative constraints that we don't need to go into, our hub has kind of evolved into really serving restaurants and individual customers. So hubs can be physical spaces or virtual. We're kind of a hybrid in that our orders take place online, but then we have physical pickup locations located throughout the county. So according to the USDA, there are about 236 food hubs in the US, and this number is growing rapidly as they're becoming popular. So moving on, what's involved? I'm going to kind of move through this slide quickly as I want to get to the nuts and bolts of how our hub operates. On our end, we help with marketing and promotion. We want to keep getting more customers, and at the same time, we want to keep getting new producers. We want to keep our products diverse and keep up with customer demand. So we do that through means like social media, the radio, and we have help from community collaborators as well. Distribution and logistics are the big thing. We need to figure out how to get the products from the producers and bring that to our customers. And that's predominantly through these pickup locations. Lastly, things to consider if you're going to start a food hub is setting up payment methods like EBT machines and being able to accept credit cards, all things to consider. And an administrator, Modoc Harvest, adopting the food hub was definitely planned. It takes a lot to run a food hub. And so having a nonprofit like Modoc Harvest, administering and taking, liability for that business is important. The producer expectations. So we want to keep local food. We have this, initial 100-mile radius, and we, obviously we're flexible, but we want to keep in mind, about where these products are coming from, make sure they're still local. So that's one condition that we hold, but, we consider other factors. We don't require any minimum amount of products, and you can sell when you wish. So we're pretty flexible. However, like farmers markets, we require certain licenses and certifications. But unlike the markets, we also require insurance, and there's certain labeling requirements that we must hold up to. So new producers will apply, and we consider factors like customer demand and product supply, as well as land stewardship and ag practices when taking on new producers. So basically how our ordering system works is by Friday at 9 a.m., our producers have the ability to plug in what their inventory is for their products. And ordering begins at 9 a.m. on our web-based platform where customers order. That ordering occurs from Friday 9 a.m. through Monday at 3 p.m. This is kind of what our website looks like. We work with the local food marketplace. That's our platform we use. But in the past, we've used Local Orbit, I believe it was called. But there's other, there's various platforms that you can work with. We work with Local Food Marketplace. So this is typically what the screen looks like. You see your producer name and the product. You can click and purchase. And here's what a order looks like. I kind of did this out earlier today as 3 p.m. is past. It's hard to access this after 3 p.m. So you can choose where we're going to pick up the order, and a credit card is required. And so, but we offer payment in cash, check. We accept EBT and other benefits payments as part of our payments. So on Tuesdays, and for sure by Wednesday at 9 a.m. when ordering or when pickup begins, our producers drop off orders here at the Cedarville office. And then we have customer pickup here in Cedarville on Wednesdays from 10 to noon. And then from there, our hub manager starts transporting. We transport to Ayden and Alturas. And we have actually just established a monthly pickup in Tule Lake. So we're about to have 4 pickup locations throughout the county. So Wednesdays is Cedarville, Ayden, and Tule Lake, and Thursdays is our Alturas customer pickup. So this is my last slide, just kind of demonstrating the breadth of our hub coverage. So Modoc County, I've expanded out quite a bit from my first map slide. The stars are our pickup locations: Cedarville, Alturas, Ayden, where our hub manager transports on a weekly basis. And then on a monthly basis, we're going to begin transporting to Tule Lake. The purple squares demonstrate zip codes where we have 21 different producers on the hub currently, selling various products from honey and meat and dairy products to our vegetables and other produce. So I think this kind of establishes the breadth there. This producer way up here kind of motivated us to get this drop off. At the same time, we want to be able to hit this demographic of clients and customers. We want to be able to accommodate possibly picking up orders here. So one thing with food hubs is keep in mind logistics. If you're going to drop off orders, you can pick up orders, you can pick up producer products at the same time. So that's kind of what motivates the structure of where our pickup locations are, is both where customers are and where producers are. So yeah, I know I ran through that last hub part a little fast, but I'm happy to answer questions on logistics and other things like that. So I'll cut it off now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steffen. That was really informative, really interesting. I just want to take a moment because you were so transparent in highlighting the funding aspect for Modoc Harvest. I'm just gonna, for our participants who aren't as familiar, I'm typing in just a link to the information about the USDA Farmers Market Promotion Program, which is one of the grants that you mentioned was pivotal in a few places for a Modoc Harvest. But across the board, I just want to highlight that this is a benefit of collaboration, is that there are these huge grants out there. This is not the only USDA grant that can really help plan and get a program up and running, but it's one of it's a pretty significant one, and it certainly runs beyond just farmers markets, as Steffen mentioned. This webinar series and agritourism program, it was funded by an FMPP as well. And again, just to highlight the benefits of collaboration, these are, a bear to apply for, to administer, to manage, and to be able to, as a producer, to be able to have a nonprofit take on that role of applying and administering is just a huge burden lifted, and all of the reporting and tracking that goes along with that. And then furthermore, to highlight the benefits of collaboration, many of these grants, that's what they're looking for. They don't want to just fund one, organization in a silo or one program. They really are asking who in your community are you collaborating with, and they want to see that you're working with, other nonprofits or a government agency or a research institution, and lots of local farmers and community-based organizations. So that is a benefit to bump up your application, is to show that you have a lot of on the ground community partnerships. So I just wanted to flag that for everybody on the call, that, organizations like Modoc Harvest and Sonoma County Farm Trails, they can provide so many benefits for farmers who are busy farming and doing the work. But they're able to do that because they are seeking outside funding. So being able to have somebody get funding on your behalf to help support your work is a huge benefit of collaboration. So I just wanted to kick off with a question for both of you. And Steffen, why don't you answer first, just because you were last speaking, but I really want to get a sense of how both of your organizations keep a pulse on what the farmers' needs are. So, Modoc Harvest, as you explained, is a new organization. You've shifted priorities as you've seen opportunities or as you've seen need. Sonoma County Farm Trails has been around for such a long time. You're both working to, meet the needs of your producers in your area. How do you, as teeny tiny staff, keep a pulse on what are those needs and how are we best meeting the needs of our constituents?
Yeah, I think we're really fortunate here in Modoc County. Is we're such a small community that we're really close knit, and so many of our almost all of our past volunteers are producers. Some of our staff are producers, and so we were established with that dialogue already there, and so I think how we I guess the best thing that I view that helps our producers and is really being that communication between the customer and the producer, and helping producers communicate amongst themselves on, for instance, with our food hub, hey, what are you growing this season? What was a popular product with our customers? So helping our producers plan what to grow is one component of that. And then another is through we have a lot of producer workshops, and we engage with our producers on what we think would be beneficial producer focused workshops for them. So we have very good relationships with our producers. So really it's just about communicating is how we address that.
Thanks. I'll turn to Carmen.
Sure. For us, I think it's being highly engaged in our community, and Ellen, who's our project manager, that's a huge part of her job, is reaching out to members, tracking what's happening on social media, noticing, paying attention, staying in contact with them. And she's always making herself available to help amplify their message, help tell their story. So there's a finger on the pulse that way. I would also say that on my board of directors, I have farmer producers. Ellen herself is an apple farmer and a cider producer. We have a board member who works directly for one of the supervisors in our county who deals a lot with ag issues. And then I'm in regular contact with other government and non-government ag stakeholders. So we're, just hearing from our colleagues and peers as well. So I would say Ellen's hearing, boots on the ground from our members, what they report back. And then from all of the ag stakeholder meetings I'm in, I'm kind of seeing the larger themes that are impacting our county.
So high levels of engagement, which is just a lot of legwork, a lot of staff time, just to be transparent about that. So Carmen, we had a question come through. Cynthia from Nevada County was asking about a farm trails there in Nevada County. I believe, Cynthia, it sounds to me like she is a producer. And if I'm getting this wrong, feel free to raise your hand and I'll turn your mic on and you can ask the question yourself. But just seems like she's looking for the farm trails to be maybe a little bit more supportive for her. So I'm just curious from if you have any advice from the producer point of view, how can they communicate with their farm trails to really have the farm trails, meeting their needs?
Well, for sure, yeah, I would say reach out to them directly and tell them what your needs are, because that's something we're always soliciting our members for too, or like, tell us what you need. I mean, we have a sense of the template and we've been doing it and adapting so much over the years, but we love hearing directly from our members and appreciate the direction and feedback. And then I think my screen just froze. Can y'all hear me? Shoot. I'll keep talking just in case you can. I am always happy to talk to other organizations. I've had numerous conversations over the years with people that are trying to get an agritourism organization started or who want, some help troubleshooting. And so I'm happy to speak with the organizers if that would benefit your county. Rachel, you're back.
Yes, sorry. I'm assuming you all took it away without me.
My screen froze for a while and I just kept talking, but.
Okay. Well, great. And so I'm back just in time for 4 p.m., which is the end of our time here together. So again, Steffen, Carmen, thank you so much for your time. It was really insightful. And to our participants who are on the call, if you wouldn't mind just taking a brief, tiny moment to fill out the survey that is going to be coming into the chat momentarily. Just it's a brief survey on how we did. And again, thank you so much for all your time. Oh, and I also just want to remind you that this webinar, the recording of this will be posted on our website shortly. So feel free to share it with any folks who you think will find it useful.